that you love, you belong to me.
Welcome to Crimson Tales.
The bodies of the recently deceased are returning to life and attacking the living.
No film in 2018 left me as deeply disturbed and alone than Arias's Hereditary. A film that, apart from the whole occultic ritual drama, showed us a realistic story about grief and mental illness, and plunged us into this entanglement, human fear of feeling unfamiliar in our most familiar setting. Although the family is supposed to represent love and support, in reality, this isn't always the case. And what the film does and makes us feel is this borderline vulnerability of what we feel when we are truly most alone, which to me is way more terrifying than just being scared. The plot follows a grieving family following the death of their grandmother, and as we learn the conflicting and shocking relationships between each character, the family's daughter suddenly is killed. That then leads us to a horrifying supernatural revelation, where everything we just watched was actually planned over the years by the grandmother's cult to transfer the soul of a demon lord from the dead daughter to the surviving son. I know it sounds ridiculous, but actually it is horrifying, and it is structured in a way that the story is oddly relatable and humanized. In the beginning of the movie, we aren't really introduced to our characters. Instead, we get to know them through dialogue and visual representation. That makes the film more realistic and more uncomfortable, but what really gives us this eerie, unnerving atmosphere is through the use of death and the feeling of being isolated from the people that we should be most closest to. The thing about death is, nothing can prepare you for when it happens. Hereditary could not have captured this helpless, destructive, and suffocating feeling of death anymore. The scene in which Charlie, the daughter, is decapitated by one of the traffic poles, it's one of the most shocking deaths, as we never see it coming. And after it happens, we get the most realistic, raw, and terrifying 10 minutes ever. That will leave you so anxious you'll be sweating and shaking from confusion and disbelief and anxiety. But most of all, it will truly unsettle you. Which is exactly how our protagonist reacts. He drives home, broken, and in disbelief. He acts as though as if he's in a trance. As we watch him drive home and get into bed, and then leave the mother to find Charlie's body in the back of the car, we just hope to God that maybe it's just a nightmare, and maybe he'll wake up and all this would just be nothing. But in reality, the true tragedy, it's real. And to me, that is a horror perfection. Hearing the mother's screams and cries, seeing Charlie's decapitated head, it just shows how much the death of someone who is really close to you can break you, leaving us feeling truly disturbed to the core with the last hour and 30 minutes. It shows how a family so connected and close are turned against each other over the loss of their daughter and sister. The main thing that makes this film so unsettling is how much we realize that these characters are completely in no control of their circumstances. and unpredictably of life, making the movie one of the most unsettling and realistic movies of all time that will affect you and leave you reevaluating your whole life, wondering your whole purpose and what purpose you have in your family, if any. Hereditary's true horror is demasking our self-importance and making us face the realization that we are all simply a pawn in a chessboard of life. A game that we can never win. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more horror content. And I'm trying to figure out a name of what to call my fans, so please suggest me some ideas down in the comments below. But other than that, thank you all for watching, and see you in hell.